I'm making this veggie bowl today that includes a quinoa dish that also incorporates some of the raw veggie bouillon. So make sure that you watch that video as well, and then there are a few other veggies in the bowl. For this veggie bowl, I'm going to make a small portion. So if you want to double this recipe, you can. But for this, I'm going to use 1 cup of water and a half a cup of quinoa. And I'm actually at the bottom of a container, so there's just a few more. I'll just put it all in. And then you need to check out my recipe, and I'll put a link for making this raw bouillon. And I'm going to use 1/8 of a cup in here. I'm going to turn on the stove, and I want to bring that to a boil. I'm also going to stir it, and let's see. I can show you. Just stir it lightly. Oops. Once it gets going, it'll incorporate better. So now we'll come back when this is boiling, which will just be a few minutes. All right, now can you see this is at a rolling boil? I'm going to turn down the heat. I have a gas stove to low. And you can also give it a stir at this time if you want, just real quick, and put a lid on, and I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. While the quinoa is cooking, we can get the rest of the vegetables ready. So I have a piece of corn on the cob here that's raw, and you can either use a knife to cut the kernels off, or I bought this cool little corn kernel slicer. So and I don't remember where I got this. You can even, actually, yeah, I want to lay it down. I've only used this a few times, but a friend of mine got one. I thought, oh, I love that. So it's so easy to get corn off the cob. And just make sure you don't slice your fingers. So somebody's going to write a comment to say, okay, do not slice your fingers with that thing, do this. The thing is, I like corn on the cob when it's really tasty. I don't like it when it's bland. So I like to get as deep down to cut these kernels off as I can. So I'm not the strongest person in the world, but if you're new to cooking, or if you're a woman and you like corn, fresh corn is the best, of course, better than frozen or canned. Okay, so that's the corn. It was easy. And you can just put it in a bowl for the time being, and then we'll chop a few more things. I have some black olives here and some cherry tomatoes. For the cherry tomatoes, I'll actually cut them in half. Or maybe these are grape tomatoes, I don't know. So get some small tomatoes that you like. They don't have to be red, they can be yellow. And I also was going to do 2 green onions, but when I took the green onions out of the refrigerator, they're huge. So this is I'm going to use for garnishing on top. So I'm just going to trim them like this. You know, probably cut those in half. Actually, this is coming off. You can get some of the green part too. That's fine. Oh, sometimes it just slides right off. You can do as much of the green as you want. Again, it's just for some garnishing, and toss the rest. And then these bigger pieces I'm just going to slice into smaller. So like I said, I'm just going to sprinkle them on top. Now you'll notice the only hot dish in this is going to be the quinoa. And that's okay. And then the other thing I'm going to slice is an avocado. But I'll slice that right before serving. When the timer's up for 15 minutes, open this up. and give it a stir, but also turn off the heat. Unless it's really, really wet. When you stir it, there should be it should be moist, but it should not be wet. So turn it off, but put the lid back on and just let it sit there while you prepare the last piece. I'm ready to slice up the avocado. And this one's a little mushy feeling. It's got some brown. So this was the least of the overripe. So if this ever happens, of course it happens when you're taking a video, just take a spoon and get rid of those unfortunate points. And what I'm going to be doing is cubing this. So I'm slicing it every which way. And then I'm going to put it in my bowl. So I've got this large soup bowl, thus the name of the recipe, Veggie bowl. But if you want to use a large plate, that's fine. And I'm going to put I'm going to put the tomatoes over here I ended up slicing the black olives in half. You can use whatever olives you want. If you don't like olives, just skip it. And now I'm ready for the quinoa. I'm ready to spoon on some of this done quinoa that has the veggie bouillon. And I'm going to put that in one spot here in the bowl. That's as much as you want. And then you can sprinkle on some of the green onion. You can also use, instead of the green onion, chop up some fresh parsley or chop up some fresh cilantro. It's up to you. I'm choosing to not put any on the quinoa because I want to taste that. So make sure to watch the video on how to make the veggie bouillon.